So what do you say to people who say, if there is a God, why does he, she, it allow such horrific crimes of war and violence occur? Or even natural disasters like the one we have just faced?
Relative life is always going to present trials and tribulations. That is the very nature of the relative. Anyone who thinks you can find absolute happiness in relative life is seriously deluding themselves and others. And I think it was the Buddha who said that life is full of pain and suffering, very much to the example Jesus of Nazareth demonstrated throughout his life. All wars and violation against humanity are a result of someone somewhere feeling more important than another and wanting to dominate over others. This is a result of severe over-identification with ego. Imagine just for a moment if we were all aware of our common connection in life, that which we all equally share in, the divine underlying unity holding everything together, that conscious presence I mentioned earlier. We would all realize that we are all part of the one and same absolute being. What do you think would happen then? You would treat everything and everyone as yourself, for it is all a part of yourself anyway. You would not hurt or violate another, for you would only be doing that to yourself. Rather, you would treat everything and everyone with care, compassion, respect, and dignity, as yourself. Where else do you think the ideal of the Golden Rule stems from? Treat others as you would have them treat you. This is not some made-up religioso ethic to keep society in line. No. It is much more than that. It is a profound realization of the ultimate nature of reality that all spiritual masters experienced and taught to us, to the capacity we could live by, to try to keep peace and harmony. But ego is the governor of relativity and individuality, the lower self, and being so, we rely on it for our uniqueness of personality. If it were not for ego, the divine higher self would be revealed, and the game of life would be over in an instant. That's the true purpose of ego, to allow us as individuals to operate as such, and to relate to each other and the universe in a personal, relative manner. The trick is not to over-identify with it, for then that's when the trouble starts. Although God gave us the will to act freely and independently, we have to be very careful and considerate about how we direct that.
And natural disasters, what do you say about that?
Ultimately, there is a reason for everything, even natural disasters. However, it is impossible to justify or make sense of the reasons why such things occur when they do. It is not possible to look at any catastrophic event that happens in the here and now and try and justify it in the moment, right here and now. It cannot be done. The only way you will ever find the answers to such things is by acknowledging all the events in totality and what they lead to in the bigger picture. The human mind does not have that capacity. It is only relative and finite. Since we as humans only have the capacity to operate in the here and now, we can only look at events as they happen in the window of the present. We do not have the privilege to see or know the greater picture and meaning behind such things in totality. The only one who has that privilege is the Absolute. Yet intuition tells me our recent disaster has much to do with placing the terrorist attacks into a perspective light. But in what way I do not know. Ultimately, it is all in the hands of the Creator. That is what it means to have faith, to surrender your fears and uncertainty back to that.
And human suffering, illness and disability. What do you say about that when it comes to a good, perfect, all-loving God?
Again, only by accounting the past can we understand why we experience hardship and trials here and now. We cannot look at someone right here and now and place judgment on them for why they are in a certain situation in life. Only God knows that, and that is of His privilege only. So don't presume you can work that one out here in the relative. It cannot be done. I often wonder what I did way back to take on schizophrenia in this life. Yet no matter what we have done, we can always correct our errors, whether here or in another time. We are all open to redemption, no matter where we are at or what we have done. Grace works in mysterious ways, and magically we can miraculously somehow, some way, no matter how long it takes, always turn a negative into a positive. back to our true self, peace and harmony.
Your story is a classic example of turning a negative into a positive. Did you ever think that maybe God put you through this because you had the capacity and caliber to come through it and to give hope and inspiration to others who feel lost and helpless?
People have said that to me before, yes. But we all strive for the good. No one strives for the bad. The bad is always limiting us from the good. The reasons why we all strive for goodness is because its qualities are appealing to our true self. They are complementary to the very essence of our original nature, that which we all strive to attain. Peace, harmony, unity, goodness, love. These are all qualities of our true original nature. They are appealing qualities which we all desire, no matter in what shape or form, or what methods we use to attain them. Since relative life constantly throws a curveball at us, we have to do our best to correct it and turn it back towards our original nature of goodness. So yes, I have considered God put me through this to turn such into a positive. The illness of schizophrenia is truly horrific, and I think if anyone has the extreme fortune to have the capacity to overcome such serious trials and harshness, then I believe it is their responsibility, or rather their duty and obligation, to pass on whatever knowledge, wisdom or insight they've gained from that to help alleviate the pain and suffering of others. My book, Into the Light Again, is my knowledge and experience gained from my recovery, conveyed in practical terms to help others achieve what I have, a healthy, normal state of mind, and to reclaim their true self. I just want to read my introduction to you. Of all the illnesses there are to encounter in human life, one of the worst, most traumatic and devastating would have to be that of the mental illness, schizophrenia. Being trapped in a mind that has gone mad is torture that surpasses any physical pain. If hell exists, then this is it. Negative, degrading, derogatory, destructive, self-sabotaging thoughts and images hitting your mind at 1,000 miles an hour, constantly, all day long, tormenting you to a degree where you are exhausted in terror, paranoia and pain. In your mind there is nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and those demons of torture keep coming at you and don't care how much pain they put you through. There seems to be no way out and no way to escape the darkness. We know this is not the way we should be, and that part of us that knows this is the part of us that is true and pure, observing all this madness experienced in the mind. It is the experiencer, the observer, our true self, that is wanting us to get out and escape this hell. There is always help in the outside world if we find it and want it, but to go deep within and know the most important part of yourself is pure is the first affirming step to come back to who you truly are and always will be. This is the way out of the darkness and back into the light again.